Good morning and welcome to our daily devotional from Pilgrim Congregational Church. I'm Patrick Horn, and we are continuing our look at the Psalms, and this morning we're in Psalm chapter 72 and looking at verses 1 through 7 and verses 17 and 18 from the lectionary this week. So this is a psalm that is written for the king. Probably most translations will note that it's written for King Solomon, and some translations will put the emphasis on these being prayers for the king, and others will put emphasis upon the lines in this poetry being charges to the king, that is, what he's supposed to do. The reason for that is that the Hebrew words and tense that are used there can be either seen as a prayer or as a charge to the king. And so the two most prominent translations, the NRSV that I use, the New Revised Standard Version, and the New International Version, actually take two different approaches here. And so, but in the Hebrew, remember that they can actually be read as both a charge and as charges and as prayers for the king. Now, the passage also, I should note, is one that was not repeated just at the coronation for King Solomon. This was probably a song that was sung frequently in different contexts as prayers for the king, and then later, even after the destruction of the nation and the diaspora of the ancient Jews, this would still have acted as a prayer, because as we'll see in verse 18, ultimately all of this arises from and belongs to God. So this is Psalm 72, verses 1 through 7, and verses 17 and 18. Give the king your justice, O God, and your righteousness to a king's son. May he judge your people with righteousness and your poor with justice. May the mountains yield prosperity for the people and the hills in righteousness. May he defend the cause of the poor of the people, give deliverance to the needy, and crush the oppressor. May he live while the sun endures and as long as the moon throughout all generations. May he be like rain that falls on the mown grass, like showers that water the earth. In his days may righteousness flourish and peace abound until the moon is no more. May his name endure forever, his fame continue as long as the sun. May all nations be blessed in him, may they pronounce him happy. Blessed be the Lord, the God of Israel, who alone does wondrous things. Excuse me. So this passage, as I said, is both a prayer for and a charge excuse me, to the king. And you will see here, as we mentioned last week in studying Psalm 122, in relation to the king, the primary responsibility is God's justice and righteousness. That is, the carrying out of this righteousness. And you'll see too that justice is essentially defined as justice for the poor, justice for those who are in need and are oppressed. And so there is this strong emphasis on the justice that comes with the will of God, which is, of course, a reminder to us here in the season of Advent that the coming of Christ is also a coming of justice and righteousness. Now, what results, again, this same message as last week in many respects, in verse 7, what results is peace. In his days may righteousness flourish and peace abound. That is, peace is the result of God's will reigning. And then verse 17, verses 17 and 18 connect all of this work on earth, the work of the king to God, who alone is ultimately responsible for the wondrous things that are done. And so there is this connection between our work, that is the simple acts of service that we do here, is connected to the eternal God, the God of Israel, who alone does wondrous things. So we'll reflect on this passage some more this week, but a powerful prayer and a charge to the king, which might also be addressed to us. Let's close with this word of prayer. Can such a heart be worth having? Make it so, Lord, and then it is yours. Take it to yourself, and then take me. Like a feeble child to a tender mother, I look up to you and stretch out my hands. I long to have you take them. You know I am not weary of your work. I am willing to stay while you here employ me. I dare not be so impatient of living as to beg you to cut off my time, nor would I stay when my work is done and remain under your feet. I am content, Lord, to wait for your time and go your way, if you will take me into your barn when you see that I am ripe. I am content to wait, but not to lose you. Quicken my dull desires and blow on the dying spark of love. Do not leave me until I can sincerely cry out, as the deer pants for water, so I long for you, O God. I thirst for God, the living God. Where can I find him to come and stand before him? Draw forth my soul to yourself by the secret power of your love, as the sunshine in the spring draws creatures from their winter homes. Meet it halfway. Draw me to yourself like a compass is drawn to the north. Dispel the clouds that hide your love for me, or remove the scales that keep my eyes from beholding you, for only the beams that stream from your face and the taste of your salvation can make a soul say, Lord, now let your servant depart in peace. Amen. Thank you for joining me this morning from Pilgrim Congregational Church. I'm Patrick Horn, and I hope that you have a very good day. Goodbye.